So I got a little bit done on the front here. Got one of my hoops in, temporary. Still going to take the grill out and clean up on the back side and get the back sides welded. I also plan on putting some gusset plates down the back. It also came with a shock tower brace, just a piece of DOM with disconnects at each end. I'm going to fit on there, and that should keep that thing pretty stout. I think I've got my links how I want them. What I've done now is I've pulled out the radiator and the AC condenser and the fan. The old radiator hung down quite a bit down here, a lot further than I wanted. So what I did was I got a lot shorter radiator. I think this one's only 18 inches, so it's not going to come down as far. It's only going to come down to about right here. So if you look, it's going to be above the frame rail instead of below it. So it's going to give me about, I think, 5 or 6 more inches of clearance for my front diff to come up. So that's going to be cool. I'm also going to get rid of all this. I think they had some, I think these are projectors maybe, I don't know, but they're about to go in the trash can. They're going to come out, and I'm going to take this grill assembly off and start getting that thing cleaned up and ready for paint. I also took off the clutch fan. Not going to run a clutch fan anymore. I ordered a Black Magic electric fan to go on my radiator. What else? I'm going to delete the AC pump just to give me a little more room. And I ordered some fuel line. This is actually -8, which I'm not going to use. I ordered some -6 because the factory stuff's 5/16, and that's basically everything you buy fitting wise that for a 5/16 line is -6. So I ordered a -6, basically braided hose like that. I ordered the female connect here, the male connect for the end, and a couple 45s and some 90s and some females, so I can bring some braided line back here to the tank and get rid of that stock line. I'm not really sure what kind of shape it's in. Haven't really peeped it up through here on the frame rail yet, but yeah, that's gonna be my plan for that. I'm also gonna, like I said, I'm gonna buy a brand new TJ pump and put in here. I'm just buying parts right now and thinking ahead. I'm not gonna install any of that stuff yet because I still wanna get in here and clean this thing up and paint it. But for right now, I wanna get a lot of this frame cleaned up, get it painted, and start getting this thing assembled. That's about as far as I've gotten on this thing. I really haven't gotten much done yet besides what you see here. A lot of researching and studying, basically. Alright, I'm making moves. I've got both these hoops welded on. That's a 78-ish. 78-ish. It's kind of hard to get it perfect by yourself, but they're all welded on. Probably going to try to mimic this mount over here before the night's over with. That way I can get my 2 shocks hung, and then I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do with this front. Alright, next morning. Yesterday is where I left off. And there was an 8-hour span I did not record because I was frustrated. So probably wouldn't have been good content. I had a mess here. It looked like a pigsty. Yeah, and I was super frustrated because I couldn't figure out how to get what I wanted. But we have our links situated. I don't really know how to measure for triangulation. I'm going to look that up here in a little bit. I'm probably going to have to get some string and stuff. So yeah, I was able to get my arms in here to miss the starter. I was over here worried about hitting the starter this whole time, and what I should have been worried about was the drive shaft, because I started on the passenger side, and the motor, if you know anything about these Jeeps, the engine is offset to the passenger side about 1.5 inches, inch and a quarter, something like that. So it's closer over here, but this side you have the drive shaft coming through, and right where you want to put your brackets back there is where it's going to hit. So as I stated before, initially I had got these Barnes 10-degree brackets, and this is what I was using in there because they're adjustable, and they're just so big and bulky, they just wouldn't go in there. If somebody else got theirs in there, then hurrah, but I was not able to get mine anywhere in there to get a decent triangulation, but I think this is where it's going to send at. And I was also having trouble cycling it because, you know, I made slits in the PVC and hose clamped it, and it was still pulling out on me because, of course, this axle's heavy, and cycling it and making sure everything, it was moving on me. I was losing my center and I was getting frustrated yesterday. That's the main reason why I didn't video a lot. And I had an idea that if I could somehow put tension this way on each end of the pipe, it would probably keep them together long enough for me to cycle it around and see if it's going to work. So I had some of these big, thick 24-inch zip ties laying around, and I just drilled a hole all the way through and went around the heim, all 8 ends, and that worked. I was able to cycle it all the way down to the ground, all the way up to full bump. This is ride height right here, so not looking too bad as far as ride height. I don't think we're getting there. I think I'm going to bring my welder back around and throw just a couple more fat tacks on these, and I'm also going to finish plating up this side right here. I still have my stencil piece, and I use my stencil piece to help line it up, so I got those pretty straight. They're the same angle. They're both pointed at each other. My shock doesn't bind anywhere, so we're moving along. The next thing I'm gonna do is just get everything. I'm gonna get my shocks on and cycle those as far as I can with my jacks. Now that I know my links aren't gonna come apart, I'm gonna do that a couple times. Probably when I have someone here to help me and make sure everything cycles good and doesn't bind up. And then I'm gonna pull this front axle out and I'm gonna fully weld it up. But yeah, I wanna get the knuckles cleaned up and the high steer on the knuckles. I wanna get my crossbar on, which I have. I have my 2 links right here. And I'm probably gonna notch it to where it hits the tube and hits this little plate that I built right here, and just shoot it straight into there and weld it on that, right in that little corner. Or if I have enough height, I may just notch it on that tube right there and send it straight on over. I don't have anything here in the way. Also, I noticed that my radiator and stuff came in today, so that's cool. I can put everything together and cycle it before I take it apart. And alright, so I went out to dinner and my wife and came back, and I'm guessing I didn't have my ratchet strap tight enough, and well, you see what happened here? Man, what a mess. But that's okay. That needed to come out anyways. Didn't really want it in the floor, but that's where it came out at, so it is what it is. But if you can see in there, I got the radiator mounted temporarily just to mock up, and it was at full bump. This side over here still is. But when that side comes up, it's still about 1.5 inches in the bottom of the radiator, and there's going to be 1 inch before that, so we probably got 2 inches, a good 2 inches before that mount would ever hit the radiator. So plenty of room there. But that's a lot bigger radiator. This radiator is smaller in size by a few inches height-wise, but it's thick. It's I think it's 2.5 inches thick, and it's aluminum, so it'll do a lot better. I also got a Mishimoto 16-inch slim electric fan. I'm gonna wire in here on a switch and a relay. this is where it's going to be bumped at. And as you can see, well, it'll be hard to see, get you guys in there. Let me fold these legs in and go up from the bottom here. But as you can see, we have plenty of room between the radiator and the top of the truss mount. But yeah, this is right. This is fully bumped up right here. And as you can see, I gotta put my two over across, but we've got towers in. They're fully welded. Radiator's semi-mounted. That's not exactly where she's gonna lay, but we've got enough room to get whatever we want done. Plus, we have enough clearance down here. So we're riding out on this thing, man. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now, man, with this thing. That's about all I'm gonna have on this video. Like I said, the next one will probably be me putting a hoop bar in and pulling all this stuff apart and getting some paint done. That'll be the next step on this. Also pulling the rear end out, and I want to make some headway on that, so that'll be here in the future too, pulling the rear out, putting the Moto Built truss kit on that and getting that thing linked up. The rear end's going to be so much easier, I have a feeling, than the front. The front was kind of a pain with the drive shaft and the starter. There's none of that back here. I also got to figure out how to route my exhaust, but that's all for the future. For right now, I'm tired, I'm worn out, I've got to go to bed, and that's all I'm going to do. Oh, and I have to edit this video. They just don't edit themselves. Realize that. So if you got any questions, give me a shout in the comments. Hope you like it. And until the next one, I'll see y'all later, man.